Welcome to the AVT Patching video. This is a video where we will learn to patch our systems together. We're going to start with what is called the optical con cable. This is a fiber cable that is difficult to use sometimes. Simply pop off the top, plug it into CCU 4. This is going to run from our camera to the CCU, that's camera control unit, but make sure it is far enough in. If it is not far enough in, it'll simply slide out. So go all the way in until you feel a tiny click, and then you know you're secure. Camera 1 feeds into CCU 4, and camera 3 will feed into CCU 3. For right now, those are the only CCUs that we are using. We will go from CCU 4, output 1, all the way over from the engineer rack to the fly pack on router input 1. This makes that camera 1. We will do the same with CCU 3 and output 1 and feed that directly into output 3. Then we will put it into router input 3 on the back of the fly pack to make that camera 3. Camera 2 will be plugged directly from the camcorder itself into input 2, designated by the blue wire. Our outputs are going to start with 24. Output 24 is a specially designated output that changes its input depending on the routing. That's going to go into monitor input 1 on the top of the engineering rack. 13 will be fed from output 13 into monitor input 2. This is an auxiliary monitor that you can patch or route anything to. As we continue with the monitors, we're going to go from output 1, and we're going to take that through to input 3. This is going to take our video signal and put it into a waveform monitor. Then we come out with a jumper cable, out 3 into 4. These jumper cables can be found in the jumper cable box in order to keep things a little bit more organized. Other outputs we will use is 14. 14 we will use to run a length of cable to a display that'll be on stage. 15 we will use to run to the return on the CCU 4. This allows you to push a button on the camera's handle and see a feed coming in different than the camera. Same with 16. 16 will run from output 16 into return input 1 on CCU 3. The next return that we will be using is going to feed out of the fly pack into the recorder, providing camera 1. '18 will provide camera 2 for isolated record of each individual video feed. 19 will provide camera 3. And 20 will provide the program. This is going to be the switched program that is routed out of the fly pack into the recorder. Next on our audio, we're going to take microphone 1, which is a built-in wireless system, and input that into input 1 on the I/O box. We will now take output 4 as one of our bus sends and send that directly into comms for the PS20 program in. We will take output 5 to a stage wedge. This here is the breakout panel for the audio record, and it needs to be put in AES. So we take this, plug this into this, and right off our console, we will provide AES audio directly to the recorder. We're going to take channel 1, found right here, and plug it into AES 1516 on the I/O box. Nicely drape the rest of the snake around it as to leave tension. Next, we'll talk about data. We'll start with our network 1 connection with an Ethercon cable. We'll go to tally 1 and 2, tally 3 and 4, and we will run sync to the CCUs. It is important to note also you need to run sync to the recorder. Sync will get plugged in on the engineer rack right down at the bottom left corner. Next to that is network as well. So we will plug network in right there. And as we continue with our data, we will plug in the tally 1, 2 into CCU 4 and tally 3, 4 into CCU 3. For audio, we need to make sure that we jump the I/O box and the console together using AES 50A to AES 50A. Just need a small jumper, again, from the jumper box. We'll finish up here with power. We're going to have 2 power cons on the fly pack. These are 2 different power systems. So as you plug in your power here, make sure your twist lock is completely locked in for the power con, and flip the 2 breakers on the back of the fly pack. When we come to the engineer rack, we'll plug in the 1 breaker and just make sure it's flipped, and the same with the audio. 1 power con here, make sure it's completely twist, and on with the breaker. And that concludes the patching of the AVT equipment. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact the course instructor or any of the supporting staff, or make sure you check out the labs and lectures that cover this material.